I believe in God for different reasons. I have 4 different areas besides experience which express my belief. The first, I expressed in the first nerd video, that a long time ago I realized that there had to have been a God because we all exist in time, and time is a series of individual events. And we can go back 1,000 events ago, we go right back 1,000 years ago, and 10,000 years ago, and 10 million years ago. At each point there is an event that begins that event, that begins that day, that begins that year. There are different periods and phases. Everything is different. An era begins and ends. An epoch begins and ends. All of these things that are found in time have beginning points. And therefore it is impossible for there to have been things going on in time infinitely before us, because each phase in time, each element of time, has a beginning point. And saying that something is infinite means that there is no beginning. And so therefore this is impossible. Since it is impossible for time to have always been. Time had to have been created at a particular point in our ancient past. Nerd tried to say that it created itself. That doesn't make any sense. Nothing can create itself. If it's nothing, it can't become something. And so I always concluded that there had to have been an original cause, which is God. The second thing is that there's purposefulness in the world. There's order in the world. The rules of physics pervade the entire cosmos. The rules of physics were created at the same time, right after the initial point of the Big Bang. The rules of physics did not exist at that time, at the first instant, because there was nothing there to have rules over. But the fact that there are rules, that there are laws, and there is an order to things in physics and in chemistry and in biology and all the things, all the disciplines of the world, there are wisdoms, indicates that someone put that wisdom there. There's a purposefulness in everything in the world. Everything has a reason why it's that way. Everything fits into certain orders, and that could not have happened by itself. Since creation, there was something created, and creation happened by some outside force, but the fact that this purposefulness indicates that the Creator had some kind of an idea of what the Creator wanted, and he had a purpose in what he wanted. Everything has a purpose, and that everything is exactly the way it should be. We are in a place with phenomenal odds against any life being. We're in a place where the conditions are absolutely right so that we can exist. Not only that we can exist, but everything fits in so phenomenally. We have a stomach. In our stomach, we have juices. Some of these juices are the most poisonous things in the world. How do you create a poison within yourself and have it just enough in the right amount so you don't kill yourself? It doesn't make any sense. You have teeth. The teeth are composed of enamel. Enamel is one of the hardest substances in the world. How do you learn how to put the enamel into your body? It's harder than steel. You can scratch steel with the enamel of your teeth. How did your body learn to absorb it and to put it into 32 different types, 32 different teeth with all different kinds of teeth, cutting teeth, tearing teeth, grinding teeth, chewing teeth? You have different kinds of teeth in your mouth. How do you learn that and make it part of your DNA? And how do you get food that just happens to be perfect for you exactly around yourself? How does that happen? That happens by itself? Come on. These are things that require no brain. This is a no-brainer. There's purpose in life. Everything has a purpose. The fact that a tree knows when to make the color of the fruit beautiful. The tree, the fruit of the tree, I know it stops losing its green after it's finished growing and it's complete, just like the leaves change, but it turns into a beautiful color which is attractive to the observer. Advertising that it is good to be eaten, for until it's good to be eaten, it's still green, which indicates that it's not pleasant. This is all purposeful. In every little phase of existence, there's purpose. There's purpose in every tiny element in this whole universe and whole world. That indicates to me that there is a God who has a consciousness and thinks and wants things to be in a particular way. In fact, let me tell you a little story. There's a friend of mine, his name is Professor Avram Michal Hasofer. He is the professor of statistics at the University of New South Wales. In the late 60s, he was asked by Australian and American scientists to help them collect the data regarding nuclear testing to see if they would be making any new monster species. And they discovered millions upon millions of mutations. And guess what? Not one new species. Not one. And evolution is based upon spontaneous generation with mutations at its core. And it was up to Professor Hasofer to explain the statistics as to what would happen, whether we were going to get monsters in the deep. And his conclusions were based upon the evidence that it is mathematically impossible for evolution to have ever taken place. And when one of the professors in that university heard this, he began to cry. Now, you may think because he cried that this was inappropriate, this was incorrect. No, because the professor had so clearly presented the evidence that Darwin was wrong, that when he was younger he had decided to believe in Darwin in order to avoid going to Sunday school, that he might have to now entertain the possibility of going to Sunday school. And such is the nature of the scientists of the world. All the nerds and the heretics, they just don't want to go to Sunday school. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with truth. The fact that there's purposefulness in the world, and that couldn't happen by itself, it is impossible, as the professor indicated. Mutations cannot cause evolution. The fact that we are here the way we are indicates purpose by a creator, by a supreme being. That's the second of my proofs. The third of my proofs is the fact that we have a